Picture this. It's 2 a.m. and you're stumbling out of a bar in downtown Chicago, the kind of night where the music's too loud, the drinks are too strong, and you're feeling invincible. You wake up the next morning with a pounding headache and a vague memory of a stranger's smile. No big deal, right? Just a wild night. But what if that one night unravels your entire life? Welcome to Shocking Stories, where we dive into the kind of tales that make your heart race and your jaw drop. Today, we're following a young woman whose one reckless decision led to a secret so dark it changed everything. Ever had a night you wish you could take back? Let's see what happens when one night becomes a nightmare. Her name was Mia Thompson, a 29-year-old marketing assistant living in a cramped apartment in Chicago's Wicker Park. Mia was the life of every party, always the last to leave, always chasing the next thrill. After a rough breakup with her college sweetheart, she'd thrown herself into the city's nightlife, hitting bars and clubs every weekend. One Friday night in July, she ended up at a trendy rooftop bar, the kind with overpriced cocktails and a view of the glittering skyline. She was 3 martinis deep when she met him, a guy with dark eyes, a crooked smile, and a charm that made her forget her own name. He said his name was Ethan, a photographer passing through town. They danced, they laughed, and when he suggested they head back to his hotel, Mia didn't think twice. It was just a night after all, or so she thought. The next morning, Mia woke up in a sleek hotel room, her head spinning and her clothes scattered across the floor. Ethan was gone. No note, no number, just an empty bed and a sinking feeling in her gut. She tried to shake it off, piecing together blurry memories of their conversation. He'd talked about traveling, mentioned something about a small town in Wisconsin, but it was all fuzzy. Mia chalked it up to a bad decision and went back to her life. Work, brunches, late-night Netflix binges. But 2 weeks later, everything changed. She was late, not for work, for her period. A drugstore pregnancy test confirmed her worst fear. She was pregnant. Panic set in. She didn't even know Ethan's last name, let alone how to find him. Have you ever been hit with a moment that makes your whole world tilt? That's where Mia was, standing in her bathroom, staring at 2 pink lines. Desperate for answers, Mia tried to track Ethan down. She called the hotel, but they had no record of an Ethan checking in. She scoured social media, searching for photographers named Ethan in Chicago or Wisconsin. Nothing. It was like he'd vanished into thin air. But then, late one night, she stumbled across a Reddit thread about a missing woman named Claire Harper, a 27-year-old from a small town in Wisconsin, about 120 miles from Chicago. The case was all over the news a year ago. Claire had vanished after a night out, leaving behind a heartbroken family and no leads. Mia's heart stopped when she saw a grainy photo attached to the thread. It was blurry, taken from a security camera, but the man in the background looked eerily familiar. Those dark eyes, that crooked smile. Was it Ethan? Her hands trembled as she clicked through article after article, each one painting a picture of a case gone cold. Could the father of her unborn child be tied to something this dark? You ever get that feeling you're in, way over your head? Stick with me, because Mia's story is about to get wilder. Imagine waking up every day knowing you're carrying a child, but the father might be a ghost, or worse, a monster. That's the nightmare Mia was living, her mind racing with questions she couldn't answer. Was Ethan really the man in that photo? And if he was, what did that mean for her? Welcome back to Shocking Stories, where we're peeling back the layers of a night that changed one woman's life forever. You ready to dive deeper into this mystery? Because things are about to get intense. What would you do if you realized you didn't know the person you trusted most that night? Mia couldn't stop thinking about Claire Harper. The more she read, the more uneasy she felt. Claire had been at a bar in Madison, Wisconsin, the night she disappeared. Witnesses said she'd been talking to a man who matched Ethan's description: tall, dark hair, charming. But the trail ended there. No arrests, no suspects, just a family pleading for answers. Mia's first instinct was to go to the police, but what could she say? I slept with a guy who might be involved in a missing person case, and now I'm pregnant. She needed proof. So she did what any millennial would do. She turned to the internet. She joined true crime forums, posted vague questions about a guy named Ethan in Wisconsin, and even messaged Claire's family anonymously, asking if they had any leads. Most responses were dead ends, but one user sent her a chilling private message: "Be careful. If it's who I think it is, he's dangerous." That message haunted Mia. She started noticing things she hadn't before: strange cars parked on her street, a shadow passing her window at night. She told herself she was paranoid, but the fear was real. At her first ultrasound, 10 weeks into the pregnancy, the doctor confirmed everything was normal, but Mia couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. She kept digging, spending hours online, piecing together scraps of information. She found a blog post about a series of disappearances in the Midwest, all young women, all last seen with a man who seemed to vanish without a trace. The descriptions were vague, but one detail stood out. The man often claimed to be a photographer. Mia's stomach churned. She remembered Ethan's camera, the way he'd talked about capturing the perfect moment. Was it all a lie? One night, Mia's phone buzzed with a call from an unknown number. She almost ignored it, but something told her to answer. The voice on the other end was low, unfamiliar. "Mia Thompson?" it said. Her heart stopped. "Who is this?" she demanded. The caller didn't answer directly. Instead, they said, "You're asking questions about things you don't understand. Stop, or you'll end up like Claire." The line went dead. Mia dropped the phone, her hands shaking. She checked the call log. Untraceable, just like everything else about Ethan. She wanted to run, to hide, but she was 12 weeks pregnant and alone. She confided in her best friend Lauren, who insisted she hire a private investigator. "You can't do this alone," Lauren said, her eyes wide with worry. Mia agreed, but deep down, she wondered if she was already too deep in this web. Ever had a moment where you felt like someone was watching your every move? That's where Mia was, and the truth was closer than she thought. The private investigator, a gruff ex-cop named Tom, took her case reluctantly. "This sounds like trouble," he warned, but Mia's desperation convinced him. He started digging into Claire's case, cross-referencing it with other disappearances in the region. He found a pattern. At least 5 women, all in their 20s, had vanished after nights out in cities like Madison, Milwaukee, and Chicago. Each was seen with a man who fit Ethan's description. Tom managed to get a copy of the security footage from Claire's last night. It was grainy, but Mia's blood ran cold when she saw it. The man's face was half hidden, but the way he moved, the tilt of his head, it was him. Or was it? Tom warned her not to jump to conclusions, but he agreed to track down any leads on Ethan the photographer. What would you do if you were Mia, caught between fear and the need for answers? Let's find out how this ends. You ever feel like you're standing on the edge of a cliff, one wrong step away from falling? That's where Mia was, her life unraveling with every new clue about the man who changed everything. A one-night stand, a pregnancy, and now a connection to a missing woman. What could possibly come next? Welcome back to Shocking Stories, where we're about to uncover the final twist in Mia's nightmare. You're not going to believe where this goes, so don't look away. Ready to find out what happens when the truth comes knocking? Let's dive in. Tom, the private investigator, worked fast. He traced the hotel where Mia had stayed with Ethan, bribing a clerk to check old records. The room had been booked under a different name, Mark Reynolds, no credit card, paid in cash. Tom cross-checked the name with police databases and found a hit. Mark Reynolds was a known alias for a con man linked to several unsolved cases in the Midwest. No convictions, no clear photos, just a shadow moving through cities, leaving chaos in his wake. Tom's theory was chilling. This man targeted women, charmed them, then disappeared, sometimes with them. Mia's pregnancy complicated things. If Ethan or Mark was still out there, he might come looking for her. Stay low, Tom warned. Don't go out alone. Mia tried to follow his advice, but it was hard. Her belly was growing, and so was her fear. She moved in with Lauren, hoping distance from her apartment would keep her safe. But one night, while scrolling through her phone, she got another call from an unknown number. This time, she didn't answer. Instead, a voicemail popped up. The same low voice from before said, "You can't hide, Mia. The kid changes everything." Her heart raced. How did he know about the baby? Had he been watching her? She forwarded the voicemail to Tom, who set up surveillance around Lauren's house. For days, nothing happened. Then, on a rainy Thursday night, Mia saw a figure standing across the street, just beyond the glow of a streetlight. She couldn't see his face, but the way he stood, tall, shoulders squared, felt hauntingly familiar. Was it Ethan? Tom pushed harder, digging into the Wisconsin disappearances. He found a lead, a woman named Rachel, a bartender in Madison, who claimed to have met a man matching Ethan's description a year ago. Rachel said he'd been charming, bought drinks for everyone, but left in a hurry when she asked about his job. She'd overheard him on a phone call, mentioning a package and cleaning up loose ends. Tom arranged for Mia to meet Rachel, hoping she could confirm Ethan's identity. At a diner 80 miles from Chicago, Rachel pulled out a photo she'd snapped of the man. Mia's breath caught. It was him. Same dark eyes, same crooked smile. But Rachel's next words hit like a punch. He asked about Claire that night, said he was her cousin, looking for her. Mia felt sick. Ethan wasn't just linked to Claire, he'd been hunting for her. The final piece fell into place when Tom got a tip from a contact in the Madison Police Department. They'd found a burner phone in an abandoned car linked to one of the disappearances. The phone had a single outgoing call to Mia's number. The police raided a motel where Mark Reynolds had been spotted, but he was gone, leaving behind a notebook with names, dates, and addresses, including Mia's. The last entry read, "Finish it before the kid." Mia's world collapsed. The police believed Ethan was part of a trafficking ring, targeting women and covering his tracks with false identities. Her pregnancy wasn't just a coincidence, it was a liability. The child she carried could be evidence, a DNA link to a man they couldn't catch. Mia moved to a safe house, protected by police, but she still checks her phone every night, waiting for another call. The worst part? They never found Ethan, and somewhere out there, he's still watching. So, here's the question. Could you spot a monster hiding in plain sight? This is Shocking Stories, and we're just scratching the surface. Hit that like button if this story gave you chills, and subscribe for more tales that'll keep you up at night. Comment below, what would you do if you were Mia? Share this video with someone who loves a good twist, because sometimes the scariest stories start with a single night.